So tell me, how do you deal with bad news? Do you adopt the show must go on, stiff upper lip? Do you crumble into a sea of wine and chocolate biscuits? Do you watch EastEnders, Coro or Shorty because, well, it's a welcome distraction from what's going on for you right now? If you answered yes to any of these, I get you, because I've done all of them, sometimes all at the same time. This week, I received some unexpected news. But my approach to this sort of thing is now very different to those 3 ways of dealing with bad news that used to be a part of my life. So let's talk about how you respond to bad news because, well, it's a part of this thing we call life. So let's get started, shall we?
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Tutty, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So hey, let's get started, shall we?
So, like I said, I received some unexpected news this week, which triggered a wide variety of emotions. You see, I learned that one of my contracts wasn't going to be renewed. So why was this unexpected? Well, up until the day before, it was going to be renewed, but overnight the funding had been pulled. That contract's first run finished in a week's time, and in full transparency, it was a significant part of my monthly income stream. Now, old versions of Tracy would have called that bad news, hence the name of this episode. But various life experiences, coaching, therapy, and a good old-fashioned crying it out with my girlfriends has taught me that there's no such thing as good or bad news. You see, I've been made redundant 3 times in my career. And now I know that redundancy happens to a role and not a person. So technically my role was made redundant 3 different times. But at the time, my identity was deeply entwined with my role, and so I felt as though I was being made redundant. In each instance, it was an opportunity to disentangle from my role and become more of my own person. This led to putting my hand up for roles that were more fulfilling. So, although it was really hard at the time, in hindsight, something good always came out of it, and a better role always come along. It's one of the reasons my coaching program is called Revitalize. By becoming clearer on who we are and what we choose from this life, there's a sense of renewal, a vitality of the mind, the body, and the spirit, which returns to us. It's a bit like searching for your car keys, only to discover that they were there in the bowl right in front of you all along. So, in my world, there's no such thing as bad news, just something that's unexpected. So when I first got this unexpected news, my immediate response was of the oh crap variety. Okay, I did think much stronger words than that, but you know where I went. The maths started forming in my brain. The how will I thoughts ran riot. My body felt constricted. I felt sick. All the things, right? And do you know what I did? I let myself feel them. I came off that call, I paced, I cried, I shook my fist, I voiced my frustration. I let it be messy. I felt it all. Because my mind was in full on, this is threatening lockdown. I didn't stuff it down. I didn't bury my feelings to be dealt with alcohol and chocolate. I used to. I was a master of everything was fine until it wasn't. I felt it all until my body was done feeling it. And this feeling, well, it all took probably a couple of hours of moving through the emotions. All through this roller coaster, I would feel into it and then make it safe. And then the next emotion would come up. I'd feel into that and then make it safe. How did I make it safe? Well, these are my go-tos. First up, breathe. Deep, long, slow, and with intention. I talked to my little girl. I hugged. I cried. I voiced what I was feeling until my body was done expressing. And I tapped. You know I love tapping. So remember last week when we talked about the cognitive emotion loop? Well, I use that to look at things from a different perspective. When you're in the weeds of where will the money come from, because that's where my mind was at that time, my amygdala was in full flight. Well, it restricts your ability to see the big picture, to be creative, to make new meanings and connect new dots. So choose to change your perspective. If you're walking through the streets of London, you'll see people, cars, buses, bikes, entrances to the tube. But go into the Shard, for example. Take a lift to the top floor, and what do you see? You look out across that expansive scenery. You see the Thames winding its way through London, just as it has since before London was called London. You'll see new routes to walk, new horizons. You may even notice St. Paul's and, on a good day, far to the north, Alexandra Palace. Ali Pali was once the highest point in London. Now still elegant, her peak is below many of the buildings that make up the newer London horizon. And that's something that couldn't have been imagined 100 years ago. So change your perspective. I found myself saying, well, isn't that interesting? I was in the process of welcoming a new coaching client. Well, now I have space to welcome in 3 more. Great! Could one of those 3 people be you? Are you yearning for a change of perspective? So notice what has just become available for you as a result of this unexpected news. And as you do, continue to give your nervous system the safety that it craves. Tap on it. Breathe. Slow, long and deep. Move your body. Move your body in a way that fuels you, in a relaxed, healing way. One of the key changes I've noticed as a result of becoming revitalized is that I no longer feel the need to fill a space with action. My immediate response to this type of unexpected event used to be to do something. I would react and then act. I felt like I was solving a problem because I was doing something. My days were filled with doing, and well, quite frankly, it was wearing me out. It's one of the reasons why I first started getting coached. Too much of living off adrenaline. I was approaching the gates of burnout way too many times, and my tendency to fix by doing more meant that I never fully recovered. It wasn't until my mentor, teacher and friend, Tracy Tutty, leaned forward into the Zoom screen. She looked me in the eyes like she was looking into my soul, and she said, Trace, you don't have to do more in order to be more. You're enough. You're worthy. So stop that shit. And my life changed in an instant. So whenever you're faced with some unexpected news, pause and follow this framework. First of all, feel it. Feel all of it until your body tells you that it's done feeling it. Secondly, throughout the feels, make it safe. Breathe, move, sing, express yourself, whether it's screaming, laughing, singing, crying. Then give yourself a hug and breathe with intention some more. 3, change your perspective. You're at ground level right now. Get yourself to that helicopter view and notice. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear that you didn't notice before? And 4, when you're done feeling, when you feel safe, when you've looked at this event from a new perspective, tell me, what is now available to you? And what are you choosing to do with that? Hey, did you know that this is our 150th episode? How cool is that? And you are here with me. From the bottom of my heart and the very core of my being, thank you for being part of the Project Joyful family. We're celebrating this week and it starts right here, right now. I'd love to gift you my lovely curated 10 most popular episodes, complete with a never before shared workbook packed with hidden gems and self-coaching style prompts. The link's in the show notes, and be sure to connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn this week because we're celebrating our 150th episode all week long with giveaways and all sorts of fun things. In case you need to find me, I'll add my Insta and LinkedIn handles in the show notes too. This is the 150th time I've said this. I'm sending you lots of love. Bye for now.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.